is about a course. So welcome to the microwave course. We start here with a coplanar waveguide. The coplanar waveguide, it has a central strip, central metallic strip is there, and with the central metallic strip, that there will be a two parallel ground plane, and that ground planes are equidistant from the either side of this particular metallic strip. So in a microstrip line, only single metallic conductor is there above the substrate, and below the substrate there is a ground plane. But in the case of a coplanar waveguide, there are the two strips, that is, two ground strips are there, and in between the two ground strips, there will be one metallic strip. So if you see the diagram, we can see that it's about a strip we say. Okay, so we can consider that it's about a strip. Likewise, and it's about your another. Like, okay, so this is about your a diagram for this strip. This one strip is about, we can say, ground plane. Okay, we have a ground strip here. These two ground planes, these are the parallel one. Okay, and this one is about a metallic strip. Okay, that is about a center metallic strip. So, and below this one we have a substrate. Okay, you can say that is about it. Now this strip, okay, we can see that it is at the center of whatever the, okay, whatever the structures we have, that is about a central strip, and that central strip with a two parallel conductor. So that two parallel conductor, or you can say that is about a parallel ground plane. Okay, and that parallel ground plane, if you see the distance between this particular strip and this is to be a constant k. Okay, same. The distance should be a same there. It is about a constant. And then if you see that it will be here in between this particular strip, metallic strip, and this particular ground plate. This one is a substrate here. Okay, so we can say that the substrate here. So we can consider that this particular portion is about a substrate portion between this particular ground plane and this particular strip there. So all this ground plane and whatever the strip we have, these are all all are present in a single one plane. Okay, all all this particular structure is present in a single plane. Now this is about your plane here. This one we can consider, and this one is called as all this your strip as well as the ground plane. We have a ground here. All are present in a single plane. That's why we can say that this ground coplanar waveguide is nothing but a uniplanar line. Okay, all these conductors, your metallic strip as well as the ground. Okay, both are present in a single plane. That's why we can say that the body uniplanar, a coplanar waveguide. Okay, so that's why you can say a co word is come here. Okay, so now this one is about, we can say it is about a substrate here. So you can say that it's a ground plane. These are nothing but a ground plane and all. Then in all present in a single plane. So if you consider that, so because of this particular, all this ground plane and strip line are present in a single plane, that will be advantages while connecting a line or connecting a component. It will be easier to connect the uh, this particular coplanar waveguide. But again, if you see that in terms of a design and all, so then there will be a lot of losses will be there, and that losses because of that a two ground planes are there, and this one is about a strip conductors there. So there may be a lot of losses there, but it is advantageous that we can connect easily to the different components, because either we can connect the component in the form of a series or a shunt, and that will be easy to connect the a component. Okay, so connections are very easy through this particular coplanar waveguide, or we can say that we can couple any other component, nearby component. Okay, so we can see that, or we can couple the two lines that are using this particular coplanar waveguide, because it has a ground and a metallic strip nearby, so that's why we can say that it can be easily connected there. And this can be easily carrying the particular signal, so interference and all these things will be minimized here. So we can consider this particular coplanar waveguide can be considered as a microstrip line also. We can connect your coplanar waveguide to the microstrip lines also. Means we can easily connect to the microstrip line, or we can consider connect to the coaxial cable also. So we can easily use this coplanar waveguide as a microstrip line, or we can use easily as a coplanar, that is about a coaxial line. Okay, so means we can easily connect, or we can say that we can easily convert your coplanar waveguide to a coaxial line, or we can convert it to the that is about a microstrip. Means transition from the microstrip line to a coplanar line, or transition from the coaxial to a coplanar line can be easily achieved using this particular design there. So if you wanted to connect a component, okay, so that component means you can say that is about a active component, that is a FAT, okay, BJT, all. So these they can be connected easily, okay, because all this setup, if you see that is about chip and conductor is there in a single plane, that's why we can easily connect that particular component there. Okay, so that is about your coplanar waveguide. So you can use coplanar waveguide for the different applications or a different purpose. So now, if you consider that this particular coplanar waveguide, so there we can consider that there will be what we can say a, a distributions. Okay, that is for the electric field distributions, E field distributions, or S field distributions. Likewise, we can consider. We can say that simply from this to this, from this to this. Okay, so this from the positive to the negative, and from positive to the negative. Likewise, so this is about your electric field distribution. Okay, likewise, you can say that is about a electric field distribution. Like, okay, this is nothing but a electric field distribution. And for the magnetic field distribution, so your current, okay, it is propagating to the center strip. Okay, this current is propagating to the center strip. That's why it has a magnetic field distributions likewise. Okay, that is about a blue. Okay, it is nothing but a magnetic field distribution. So this is about a electric field distribution. Okay, field distribution for this particular line. It looks like, and you can see that this we can connect this particular line easily. So now there are some disadvantage for this particular circuit. Okay, so disadvantages means we say right now advantages we can easily connect to the component, or we can easily connect to the convert, or we can say that transition from the microstrip line to a coplanar line, or we can say that the transition from the one line to the another line. Okay, that will be possible. Even again, this particular strip line support a various modes. Okay, so if it but those modes can be balanced or unbalanced for the given particular application. So that's why we can say that can be used. This coplanar waveguide can be used in the applications in a balance mixer or a balance modulator there. Okay, so because of that it will be easily balanced. And here if you see that we can say that about a field distribution. So because of that particular field distribution, we will get uh, that region, that is a polarization using this microstrip line, can be a elliptical one. Okay, so elliptical polarization, or you can say that about it because there are the ground planes, so that's why we are getting that elliptical polarized magnetic field around this particular that is about a strip there. And similarly, there are the disadvantages for this. Okay, because we are using the substrate here. Here, this is nothing but a substrate on this particular line, and because of that substrate, so that substrate size can be a thick or a thin. Okay, so if we are using a thick substrate, okay, so then what will happen? We can avoid the any whatever the noise or anything else. Okay, but if we use a thin surface, okay, so then whichever the noise and everything occurs at the time of a coupling, so if it is a thin, so then noise will be added, and if there is a thick one, so noise will be removed. So we can consider that if any spurious signals or any noise is there at the time of a coupling, or a coupling modes and all, so we need a thick substrate. Okay, that is about a disadvantage. We need a thick substrate for this particular line. Okay, two-plane waveguide. And here this one is about a particular that is metal is strip in a at a center there. So that's why we can say that uh, it handles a poor heat sinking capability. Okay, so means we can say that for a given particular microstrip line, okay, so it their heat sinking capability good, but here it is a poor heat sinking capability there. Then we can while connecting this particular component, okay, so to another line, these are the two ground lines are present. That's why it will be very difficult for this particular uh, uh, component is to be connected. This we can say that a circuit relation is a more complex. Okay, because of that, there is a gap in between this your strip and a ground plane there, and because of that particular gap, so there will be a parasite present in this particular. You can say that the body. Okay, so we can say that the body parasitic mode and all. So that is because of this particular uh, design. Okay. We can consider uh, if supposed to be any discontinuity happen in this particular length is to be same. Okay, if discontinuity occur, so then it will be difficult to couple, or there may be change in the parameter of a given line. So in general, if you consider that a practical coplanar waveguide, that is it has a conductor there. Okay, we can say that is about a conductor, and we can say that is about it, and this center conductor that should be a small. Okay, likewise is about a center conductor, but a ground plane it is to be large there. Likewise, this is about your center conductor. Suppose this is to be small, but this ground plane is to be large. That is about a practical thing. Means large ground planes require. Okay, so that's why we can say that that's about because of that the signals losses and that is about noise will come. So we can again this one is about we can say that about a field distribution. According to the field distribution, we can say that the body it support a positive TM modes of the propagation. Next about we can go for the analysis of this particular coplanar waveguide. Analysis of coplanar waveguide. Now for this particular analysis, we need to know about what will be the epsilon effective. Okay, and we can use those particular epsilon effective, and you can calculate that value of a ZO, the characteristic impedance of a given line. So characteristic impedance that is about ZO is equal to what? 30 pi divided by epsilon effective into K of K dash and K of small. Now what do you mean by K of K dash? Q of k means what? It is about a complete elliptical. Okay, Q of k is nothing but what? A complete elliptical, and the complete elliptical integral of the first kind of this argument k. That is about a small argument. And k dash is nothing but what? It is about under root of 1 minus k square. Okay, that's about k dash is about a 1 minus k square. So we can calculate that epsilon effective using that what will be the epsilon r value, and or we can say that k can be calculated, that is about a small k is depending upon that a and b, that is about it whatever the substrate height and so. Okay, so that's about the thickness. For a finite thickness, if supposed to be this is about your 35 by epsilon effective, so that is about your equation, and that ZO, this characteristic impedance we are getting for this infinite thickness. Okay, infinite thickness substrate we have. If supposed to be we have a finite thickness substrate, if we have a finite thickness substrate, in that case, that ZO is equal to same. Okay, ZO effective will be same. But only the case is that our epsilon effective will be 1 plus epsilon r minus 1 by 2 into k of k dash into k of k, k1 here divided by k of k here into k of k1 dash. Now that k will be what? A by b. Okay, k will be a by b. K1 is equal to what? Sine of hyperbolic of by a by 2h sine of by b by that is about a k1. Then we can calculate that k of a by k of k dash. That will be equal to what? 1 by pi log of twice of under root of 1 plus under root of k divided by 1 minus under root of k. That is about k by 2. So in that case, if you consider that k belongs to what? That is k square belongs to that 0.5 to 1 here. And the ratio of k of k dash, okay, by k of k is equal to 1 by pi log of twice of what? 1 plus k dash by 1 minus under root of k dash. In that case, k square is nothing but from 0 to 0.5. Okay, so that is about, we can say that k of k dash by k. Okay, so that's about a relation here. You can calculate this particular equation. These two equations. We'll get the equation for this a ZO. That is about it. Same equation for the finite thickness also. Infinite thickness same, but only this equation that is about k by k dash is changes because here we have this epsilon effect is different here, so that's why ZO will be different. So there are the losses in this particular coplanar waveguide. That losses in the coplanar waveguide are due to what? Conductor losses, or you can say that the body losses due to the dielectric. And that all these losses, that is about the conductor losses and that dielectric losses, are they are same or similar to the microstrip line. You can say that the conductor losses and the dielectric losses. These are the losses, that all these losses are same to, you can say that is about the same to your microstrip line losses. Because the microstrip line is single conductor is there and in ground plane, the ground plane. So you can say that losses are similar to this particular line. Okay, that is about your coplanar waveguide. Next, we can consider that is about slot line. Now, in a slot line, we have a conductor there. Okay, and that in between that conductor there will be a slot. So, slotted section we have seen earlier. Slotted section waveguide we have seen. Now, this one we have this conductor there. Okay, same size of the conductor we have, and this one is nothing but a substrate. And okay, this is nothing but your diagram. And this is a B here, thickness and height of your substrate. And this one is nothing but the width. How you can say that width between these particular two conductors. These are nothing but a two conductors. Okay, means this one is a slot here. Right now, this one, if you consider that, this one is a slot here. So field distributions, if you consider that, these are the two conductor wires. Okay, these are the two different conductors. So there may be a one can be used as a metallic conductor, another can be used as a ground plane. We can consider this particular circuit. Okay, and about a slot is present. Okay, one will be positive, another will be negative. Likewise, supposed to be this will be a positive and this will be negative. In that case, our field distributions for this the line will be likewise. It remains from the positive, submit at negative. Likewise, okay, you can say that it is about a positive and a negative. So that is about a field distribution. You can say that is the electric field distribution. Okay, this one is the electric field distribution of a line here. So now for the current, because since we have these two conductors there, these are the two conductors. Sometimes we say that about a current is a positive, sometimes we can say that about a negative here. In that case, so there will be a current distribution will be separate for the separate wire. So you can consider that here we have wire. In that case, the current distribution will be likewise around. Okay, we can say that a current distribution in this particular case will be upper side and below side. Say the current distribution. So we can say that this particular slotted line, okay, this particular slot line, if that if this distance is a small, so current distributions will be a different here. If that distance is a large, okay, then current distributions will be a different here. So mean that is about your H field line, that is H field distribution, or you can say that this one is about a electric field distribution for this plotted line. So now if you consider this one is a substrate here, okay, this one is a complete substrate, and there likewise on a substrate there is a strip. So there are the two strips. Okay, there are the two strips. And if you compare with the microstrip line, so below the it has two plane, two one is about your metallic strip and another is about a ground plane. Similarly, it has a two wires or two metallic strip here in this particular plotted line there. But if you wanted to connect any component to this, so we need to connect a component parallelly to this. So we can use, so any component can be easily connected in a parallel, not in a series. Okay, so easily. So and again, what happened here? So we can say that about the polarization in the case of your electric field and magnetic field. So we can, according to this, because since two conductors are nearby, in that case, so there will be a circular polarization of this particular magnetic field. And because why this circular polarization? Because it has this particular slot is there nearby. So again, a slot can be used as a resonance structures or a non-resonance structure. So this design can be used as a slotted antenna. Okay, so, or we can say that about we can use this design for the slotted antenna. And again, we can calculate the characteristic impedance. Earlier we have seen for the coplanar waveguide it is same, but only the difference is that we need to calculate that effective epsilon effective. That epsilon effective is equal to what? Epsilon r by plus 1 divided by 2. And if you consider the characteristic impedance of a given particular line, in that case, how much is the voltage is propagating through it, and what will be the average power. So we can calculate that a characteristic impedance of this particular slot line. But losses in the slot line, if you consider, because it is looks like a two conductor wire, that is microstrip line. Similarly, the losses in this particular slot line are similar to the microstrip line. Whatever the loss is, okay, that are lot losses in this line are similar to the microstrip line. Okay, losses are similar to the microstrip line. That is about your slotted line. Okay. You can consider that's about a slot line, and we have just consider here a waveguide, okay, microstrip line and a slotted line, and that is about your the microstrip line and a microstrip line structure. So now we can a microstrip line is composed of zero thickness, is composed of zero thickness copper conductor on a substrate having epsilon r is equal to 8.4, tan of delta is equal to 0.005, and thickness is equal to 2.4 mm. If the line width is 1 mm, if the line width is 1 mm, operated at 10 gigahertz, calculate the characteristic impedance the attenuation due to conductor loss and dielectric loss. So here we need to consider that compound given, as given figures are nothing but a fixed frequency is given, that's about 10 gigahertz, and because of this particular frequency is given, we can calculate that lambda is equal to what, E by F is equal to what, it's 3 into 10 power 8 divided by, we have a frequency of 10 into, okay, so we can consider that 10 into 10, that's about it, 10 is power 9 gigahertz. We can calculate that what will be the, okay, what will be the lambda there, and then that figures are given, epsilon r is equal to 8.4, tan of delta is equal to given point of 0.005, then a thickness is given is equal to 2.4 mm. Okay, that is nothing but a height. Okay, you can say that thickness is nothing but the height of the substrate. Okay, so that's about for this particular substrate having epsilon r and thickness. Okay, height of the substrate is given. So now using this, we can calculate that W by H was, because our aim is about to calculate the characteristic impedance of a line. So characteristic impedance of a line ZO is equal to what? That is 60 by epsilon effective natural logarithm of 8H by W plus W by 4H. So now our aim is about to calculate here what will be the epsilon effective. The epsilon effective is equal to what? Epsilon r plus 1 divided by 2 plus epsilon r minus 1 divided by 2 bracket 1 plus 12H by W raised to minus 1 by 2 plus 0.04 1 minus W by H square. Okay, that is about it. Now you can put that epsilon r is equal to 8.4 here, and then H by W and W by H ratio. So we can calculate that W by H ratio or H by W, because W by H we require and H by W we require. We can calculate that W by H. That W by H is equal to what? 1 by 2.4 is equal to 0.417. Since the W by H ratio is less than 1, so that's why this equation works. Otherwise, we have to consider that another equation of 30 something, 45 something. Okay, if it is greater than. So we can consider that this W by H ratio. Now put that all these ratio W by H comes here H by W or W by H here. You will get that optional effective. After solving, optional effective is getting 5 point and a ZO it is 76.2 ohm. That is about your characteristic impedance of this particular line. Then a B, what is the attenuation due to the conductor loss and a direct? So attenuation due to conductor loss alpha C 8.686 into RS divided by Z0, and we know that RS is equal to under root of pi f u by sigma, and if you calculate that, you consider that pi f u is equal to 4.10 for minus 7, and sigma, that is about the conductivity for a copper material is nothing but 5.8 into 10 to the power 7. That is about a conductivity. Now you can put all the values pi, that is frequency 10 gigahertz, mu is 4.10 for minus 7, and you will get that RS after solving. You will get that RS, that will be what 2.6 into 10 power minus 2 resistance. Put that, you will get that a conductive that conduction loss. Okay, alpha. Alpha C is equal to what? 8.86, 8.686. So we are getting that 2.6 into 10 power minus 12, sorry, minus 2 here. Okay, and that is about a Z0. Z0 is nothing but a characteristic impedance. That value we are getting. So that is about a 76.2 into whatever the width we have. 10 power minus. Solve it, you will get that alpha C is equal to 2.98 kb per meter. That is a alpha. Similarly, you can calculate that dielectric loss alpha D 27.3 optional effective minus 1 divided by optional R minus 1 into optional R by optional effective into tan of delta by lambda g. Lambda g is equal to what? Lambda by under root of optional effective is equal to 3 by under root of optional effective. We are getting that is 5.4. 5.4 is equal to 1.287. Put that optional effective, optional R is 8.84 something given. Okay, that is optional R is given 8.4. This one is a 1.8287. Optional effective we are getting that is 5.43. So if you put that in alpha D, you will get that alpha D, that is the dielectric loss, is nothing but 0.98 dB per. That is about a dielectric loss. Okay, you need to know about what is the optional R. You get that attenuation here is the direct. That's about a for a given particular circuit. We need to calculate that character impedance, that is we are getting, that is about a 0, 76. Then we need to calculate that attenuation due to the conductor loss and the attenuation and a dielectric loss. This one is the attenuation due to the conductor loss. This one is the attenuation due to the dielectric loss. Next one, another example. A microstrip line is to be design and its specification is strictly that is T is less than 0.005. Substrate board is alumina. Relative dielectric constant relative dielectric constant epsilon r is equal to 10. That ratio of W by H is equal to 0.95. Calculate A effective relative dielectric constant, B characteristic impedance ZO, C phase velocity, and D what is the lambda. So now we need to calculate that epsilon Re, that A epsilon Re, the same equation epsilon R plus 1 by 2 epsilon R minus 1 by 2. Okay, same earlier equation. You see that. So we can use the same equation for this epsilon R. Epsilon is equal to what? Same equation that we can use for the calculations of the epsilon. And after solving this, we'll get that epsilon effective will be 6.71. Then B, that will be a ZO. ZO is equal to what? Earlier we have seen that ZO is equal to 60 by epsilon effective natural logarithm of 8h by W plus W by 4h. Again, it is the same equation, and you can calculate that ZO. After solving that ZO, we'll get that, okay, 50 ohm. Then the C is about the phase velocity. C, the phase velocity is nothing but what we have calculated earlier. Okay, epsilon effective. Okay, so we can just consider that C by under root of epsilon. Okay, so that is about epsilon Re. Okay, so we can consider that epsilon Re here is a relative one. So we can calculate that is nothing but 0.71. So we'll get that phase velocity is equal to 1.16 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, so simple. Epsilon Re. We have calculated that epsilon Re here. Same we have used, and then we'll get that phase velocity. Next is about a D, that is a lambda. Lambda is equal to what? Lambda 0 by that equations we have seen earlier. Okay, so that is about a lambda equation. That I just write down this particular equation here so that you understand that how to calculate that a lambda here. So lambda g is equal to what? Lambda 0 effective, and then we can calculate that the values of this lambda. But I have directly the equations and all for solving this microscopic line. First of all, take the microscopic line. Generally, we say that lambda g is equal to what? Lambda 0 by epsilon. Okay, that is about your lambda, and then lambda 0 where is that lambda 0 is nothing but what you can calculate using the equation. Calculate that directly. We can write the equation for this lambda 0 there. Lambda is equal to lambda 0 by 10 under root of 10 into the equation actually that we can consider that the epsilon effect. Okay, we can consider that the equation for this epsilon effect is we will get that lambda 1 plus 0.63 to 10 minus 1 to 0.95. That's about the thickness. Just 1 by. So if we solve it, we'll get that 0.43 lambda. This one is about a lambda we are getting. So we can calculate that lambda in terms of a lambda. Okay, we have a lambda g equation. We can calculate that what will be the lambda g, lambda 0 and all. Okay, likewise. So we will get that a lambda, that is about a 0.43 lambda.